And now they can hear me. All right, Tess, this is me talking at a pretty normal level for how I talk on the podcast. Let's see how it goes. Yeah, that looks right for me. You go, Mike.
This is Mike talking. I think about how I talk. It's hard to fake it though, but I can fake it till I make it, and I'll make it when I create it, and I'm gonna create the end of all times. People are gonna say, "Well, this boy can rhyme," and I'll be like, "Hey, Jesus, what's up in the air?" And he says, "It's your homie. Your grandma's there."
Perfect. Perfect. Everything you just did there was perfect.
Okay, good.
Okay.
I know, but yes,
you can hear me fine though.
yeah, it's not great.
Okay, cool. Sounds good from Infernal Tim. I'm going to show that. I don't know why the thing tried to hold that.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna open up the YouTube. Crap.
All
Put
right.
together. Hey, look, you changed the thing. You have our live thing as the top thing on your channel. You got rid of that years old Mario Kart video.
I didn't actually, but I will. I don't. Is that
did
really?
it.
I didn't do anything. I keep meaning to. I was gonna take time last
Oh.
night and then I forgot. I played Hitman 3 instead.
How strange.
But yeah, I'll put one of our tier list videos there. I think. Mike sounds with a bit of echo. Let's check and see
I
where.
with a bit of echo.
That's not his fault, people. Let's see here.
They're getting double mic. Getting double me.
What is going on with?
Which sounds
Go
great
XLR?
to me. Twice the mic.
All right, you should no longer hear an echo from Mike Minotti.
Do you still hear an echo from me? Is there still two of me's? How many me's can you handle? If you're in the chat, speak up. There we go.
There we go. Okay.
Perfect.
All right.
Hooray.
All right. Oh wait, something's happening. Something's happening.
They say it's good. I don't know.
great.
What the hell is this? Yeah, whatever voice thing you thought you're going to do isn't working. So
It's not working. All right.
We saw a scary face, but that's it.
All right. Well, that you know what? That's fine.
Idiot.
That's fine.
Now it's all black.
Wait, so we haven't actually started yet. We have 2 minutes before I said we were going to start. So, I wonder if it's muted. Is that what it is? No. Oh, we're not. I'm not gonna worry about it.
Yeah, let's not worry about your Satan thing. That could be your little side project for later.
You know what? It was a I was gonna fuck with Elden Ring fans, is what that was.
Yeah. God, do we still have Elden Ring questions today?
So far, no, but that's because we're only asking questions from the Discord right now. We'll see what chat does, but
I was so confused. What are people mad at you about your score? You said people were mad at your score. All you did was give the game a 5 out of 5.
No, but then they were making a joke about 3 out of 5 and 6 out of 10 and 60%, because that's what I gave Cyberpunk. I gave it a 3 out of 5, and then things turned into 60%, which is not how that works. And those are the people that always give me crap about it. They're messing with us.
Okay, man. That's a Metacritic thing.
Yeah, because it's like it's a 3 out of 5, and it's like, no, that's a 60%. It's like, well, you can make it any ratio it could be like, a 15 out of oh no, I'm feeling at math right now. A 15 out of 20, is that the same thing? No, it's not the same thing.
That is absolutely not the same thing.
12 out of 20. Oh god. Whew. All right, man.
Don't hurt
I almost
yourself.
passed out there doing math. Okay, so we have Mike. I don't have all the news here for sure. I have Xbox Live, Activision, Vicarious Visions, Tencent, and majority stake in Clay.
Why do we already have 6 thumbs downs today? What did you do to make everyone mad?
It's definitely going to be the people
Xbox
who are
Live
like.
thing?
It's definitely going to be the people who are like misread that tweet as like me making a prediction and saying for sure this was going to happen when I was actually just
ruining our brand.
Mike,
I'm going to vote thumbs down.
This is why I keep you around. You're the likable one. You're supposed to fix this stuff.
I'm 12. I'll try, but I'm not a miracle worker. Damn it. Yeah, we got the news. Let's go.
All right, let's go. Okay, yeah. If we're missing news, people get shot at us in
People
chat.
yell. I'm sure the questions will cover things. It's all there.
Okay, cool. All right. What do I need? We're live on YouTube, so then I need to just hit this button here and then come back to the YouTube thing, and we're good. Okay. I am going to make sure that I have the right music. Can you hear this?
Yeah, did you make a clickbait thumbnail? People say it's the clickbait thumbnail. What's the thumbnail?
It's just Xbox Live Gold. The words Xbox Live Gold.
You clickbait bastard.
Listen, I can't help it. I'm just after those juicy clicks, Mike. You know me.
Yeah, those clicks, which we are definitely compensated for directly.
Okay. I'm going to hit start recording, and then you heard the music, right?
Yeah, I heard it.
Okay. All right. 5, 4, 3. It's the internet. You're busy. Let's do this. Welcome to the GamesBeat Decides podcast. This is the podcast where we decide everything about the world of video games so you don't have to think for yourself. I'm your host, Jeffrey Grubb. With me is
Mike Minotti.
In today's episode, we have news. We have video games. We have news about video games that's going to make me angry.
No.
How you doing, Mike?
Angry, like you.
It's a weird time. People are like holding back news, and now they're like, let's put out the bad news.
Yeah, right.
Some of it doesn't make, almost none of it makes sense to me, but we'll get to all of that really soon. First, though, I want to thank everybody for joining us. You can get more from Mike and me at GamesBeat.com. If you have something to share with us, email the podcast at GamesPlusPodcast@VentureBeat.com or get us on Twitter. Our handle is @GamesBeat. Thank you to Carlos Zain and Sand in the Rain Music on YouTube for the use of our theme song. If you're listening to this on like the website player widget, if you're watching on YouTube, there is an audio version of this show that you can subscribe to. It's on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, wherever pods are caught. And if you like the show, rate us wherever you're listening, or if you're on YouTube, give us a thumbs up. People are mad at me because I'm just a clickbait bastard. So you guys gotta help us fight back against the hordes.
They're gonna thumbs down today. I might join them. I don't like you anymore.
That's fair. I get it. Let me turn you up in my ears. Okay. Yeah. So I need to go back to the YouTube chat. Now I'm good. All right, Mike. So should we just kind of get into this stuff that happened this week? Mostly
sure,
today.
We have a super chat first from Creaky Legs. Who would have thought 2021 would be the year Xbox executives stopped being buddy and coming on podcasts and doing interviews? That's $5 from Creaky Legs. Thank you, Creaky Legs.
Thank you, Creaky.
Yeah, and $5 from Lucius Augustus. If Xbox wants to charge customers this premium, they have to prove that this premium is worth the price. Xbox has the best and worst deals in gaming. So yeah, I think we're probably talking about this first, right?
We're talking about this first.
Yes. Why don't you tell everybody what happened in case they don't know?
Yeah, so in case you're just joining us at Video Games Today, Xbox, Microsoft, this started leaking last night. There was a image going around of a card that people could go to the store and buy, and it said US $60, and then it said 6 months of Game Pass, or I'm sorry, not Game Pass, Xbox Live Gold. And that would effectively double the price for Xbox Live Gold, right? Because people were paying $60 for a year, if that. A lot of times people were getting deals on that. So now that means $120 a year. Now this morning, Microsoft confirmed they are raising their price. And the reason they gave was, it's time. We looked at it and we're like, it's time. It's been a long time. Let's just raise the price. I mean, there are a few caveats here that I think we should probably point out. If you have an active subscription to Xbox Live Gold right now, and you renew through Xbox Live, so that you had 12 months for $60, it'll renew you for 12 months, another 12 months for $60. You will not have to pay the increased price. But that is also sort of like in my story when I described this, that's kind of still a stealth price increase, because a lot of those people don't renew through Xbox Live. They go out and get another $40 card when it's on discount. But you can't. Those cards probably aren't going to be out there now because it'll be significantly more expensive even on discount. So those people will probably end up paying more as well. It's kind of a weird situation. But I mean, those are the basics. It just seems like a really weird thing, Mike. I don't know. What are you thinking?
Bizarre. Real quick, $2 from Nick Turbo. Did you sing "Amazing Grace" with Garth Brooks?
Of course I did. How about you, Mike?
Yeah. No. I don't know, because I think we all thought, I know you thought this, and I know that you promised everybody that Microsoft was just getting rid of Xbox
I just said
Live Gold.
The words "I promise." Yep.
Yeah, and it seemed to make sense, right? Because that seems kind of like an archaic thing at this point, because that's not their money stream anymore, really. Game Pass is, and Game Pass is what they've been positioning. Like the idea that you're paying money just to play games online right now seems kind of weird, especially when free to play games are so popular. It's such a driving force on these consoles. Like, we know Microsoft can just make money by making sure as many people as possible play Fortnite, right? Mm-hmm. They don't need to charge those people so much dollars a month. right?
Yeah,
I
they
mean, if
definitely
that
don't
was
need to.
that big
Yeah.
a deal, then we would all be paying monthly to play Fortnite on PC if that actually works that way. So I find it puzzling because it's obviously such bad PR from them, and it's bad PR from, let's like be clear here, the third place team, right? Like maybe not third place by much, but by the third place team. And
Yeah.
the one thing they had going for them was that they were kind of gaining a lot of goodwill, and now not so much. Another $2 from Dan Becker. No company gives up a reoccurring revenue stream. I mean, it's
They do though.
but they do sometimes. They do. So we've seen a lot of MMOs go
And I
free
and
to
what
play or change their thing. And a lot of times, yeah, it's because they're not as popular as they used to
But
be.
it won't.
But
Isn't that exactly what this is, though? You double the price for something that people have become accustomed to. Oh my god, my phone is ringing. My phone is my camera.
you're a scrub.
Yep. Hang on. There we go. Isn't that what they're doing though? Giving this up by doubling the price and driving people away from this thing. It's effectively going to do the same thing as getting rid of it. I think a lot of people are going to balk at this price and say and just walk away instead of paying it. Some people will, but it's going to drastically reduce the number of people who are subscribing to Xbox Live Gold. Some of those people might go to Game Pass, but it's still, again, that's, that they would probably accomplish the same thing by just getting rid of gold. But I think that they thought in their head, here's my conspiracy theory, is that they were thinking in a very insulated way about this, and they're thinking like, we just need to make the comparison between Xbox Live Gold and Game Pass so weird that people would be like, why would I ever just be subscribed to Gold when I can get Game Pass Ultimate, which includes Gold, for just a little bit extra per month? And they didn't consider in any way what this looks like compared to playing on PC, playing on Switch, playing on PlayStation, where it looks really bad. Yeah, it looks bad. It looks and so like, why would they do this? They do this because they think it will move a lot of people to Game Pass, and it's obvious to everyone that's why they're doing this. The other theory is like maybe they want to raise the price of Game Pass, so they have to raise the price of Gold first, and maybe. But either way, it's obvious that they are doing this in a way to sort of manipulate the audience, and it feels very blatant. And so when everyone can tell that's what you're trying to do, it doesn't work. Everyone just gets mad at you, and you get this bad PR.
Yeah, I mean, people are so much more savvy than these now, and they're so much more skeptical of these things. It's just a bizarre decision. Another $5, by the way, from Ashes to Ashes. Xbox Gold decision is so ill-informed to me. I know why they are doing it, but they should be pulling people into Game Pass, not pushing people from Gold. And right. So if they had just got rid of Gold and said that stuff's free now, so many people would have been like, oh, I have this extra money per month. Maybe now I can get Game Pass.
I mean, why don't you just turn it into turn everyone that has Gold automatically turn it into Game Pass?
Yeah. Dan Becker said, damn it, Penny, no barking. I don't think Penny was barking. Was she barking? I think she was behaving this time.
I did hear a bark, I thought. So
yeah. Oh wow.
Damn it, Penny.
I didn't.
But it was like very
quick.
That
Penny behave. She's looking at me like an idiot.
If there's barking on my side, there's a big problem. And I'm gonna have to deal with some stuff.
If you have a tux. Yeah. So yeah, it's bizarre. I think people are rightfully annoyed by it because there seemed to be a better option. And let's be clear, it's Microsoft. They could afford to get rid of Gold, right?
Yeah.
Like, is it that important of a revenue stream for them? I can't possibly imagine, especially when we know Game Pass is the revenue stream now. That's what really matters.
Yeah, I mean, and I think that I get the idea that people like, who would give up? Why would they ever give up that money? I do think that they're like you were describing earlier, like they make a lot of money through like selling stuff through free to play games, and this is going to be like a weird point of contention once Halo gets here.
Right, because the Halo multiplayer is supposed to be free to play, right?
Yeah, so we do have some questions today from the Discord. I think the link to the Discord is in the description if people want to join. These questions are from the Patreon subscribers. I still haven't kind of set up the Patreon for everybody yet, but these are my current Patreon subscribers. And Eat the Hype Donnie asked a question about this. He said, today's gold news definitely means they cut the free-to-play requirement before Halo releases, right? I don't know. So that's the big difference between gold and all of the other services, that even the ones you have to pay for on Nintendo and PlayStation. On Nintendo and PlayStation, Fortnite is free to play, and you don't have to pay anything to play it online. On Xbox, it is free to play, and you have to have an Xbox Live Gold subscription or Xbox Game Pass Ultimate subscription to play it online. And that is very weird. And now that's going to continue with Halo. that you've announced is going to be free to play. It's so weird. I just I don't know. It feels like they're creating a headache for themselves that they really didn't need to.
Hey, we got $20 from some scrub named Christopher Minotti. He says, "Is the Game Pass increase coming next? Especially if rumors that Ubisoft Plus is coming. Also, Mike is a noob." Yeah, thanks, Chris. That's my brother.
Yeah, he's the best part of my favorite podcast, 90s Disney.
That's true.
Love you, Christopher Minotti. But well done. So yeah, what do you think about the idea that this is about raising the price of Game Pass? To me, that doesn't feel like this is necessarily what it is.
I I don't know. Like, there's some logic to that there. I'll tell you what, especially now with people reacting so badly to the increase of gold, you would think that maybe they wouldn't want to do that. Maybe they were thinking about that, but I don't know.
You want to read this other super chat?
Yeah, we got another $5 from Seven Decker. Thank you so much for all the super chats.
Yeah, thank you, everybody. We appreciate it.
And it's just another used game E3 fiasco that competitors will take advantage of in their communications. So
yeah, I think it's not wrong. To me, it feels closer to like when Netflix was doing the Flickster thing, and they're like, we're gonna spread out the same game. They're sending movies by mail is gonna become Flickster, and we're gonna raise the price of Netflix, and they're gonna be two separate things. And everyone reacted so poorly to that they backtracked on it pretty quickly. To me, this feels like something that they could contain if they do respond quickly. If they just try to like stick the path here. I mean, there was a better way to do this. There's got to be a better way to get people onto Game Pass if that's your goal. If the one thing that makes me think they're trying to raise the price is maybe this is the best way to get people to be okay with raising the price of Game Pass, because you get the anger out of the way, let it die down, and being like, hey, listen, Game Pass is, here's how much it would cost to get Xbox Live Gold plus this, and like. But to me, they just don't seem like they're in a position.
Still be angry.
Yeah, people still be mad, and they don't seem like Microsoft doesn't seem like it's in a position where it needs to raise the price of Game Pass yet. It still feels like it's like in those early days where it is totally okay. It's losing money. I guarantee inside Microsoft they're doing the whole thing where these companies always talk about, like Amazon didn't report profits for its first 15 years or whatever. And they're playing the long game, and it's a company, one of the few companies in the world that can afford to play the long game for decades. So this doesn't seem like this is the time to be like raising the price on Game Pass, but you never know what the internal pressures are like. You never know what Satya Nadella is demanding of Phil Spencer. But yeah, honestly, to me, this just feels like this was part of their plan to get people to Game Pass, and it backfired, and they're gonna have to come back and think of another way of doing it and undo this. Really.
We got $5 from Jody Cuss. I'm sorry if I'm saying that wrong. Do you think this is a weird move to show upper Microsoft management that Live needs to go by showing them all the bad PR it presents?
Yeah,
I don't know. That seems like a little like TV show to me.
Yeah.
Like, that's how it would work if you were writing a drama. But I don't know if anyone's being that smart here.
Yeah, it does feel like that. Like I like, of course that occurred to me, but also the same thing. I'm like, yeah, it's like I am applying my own dramatic interpretations of things to things that we have no evidence for. I doubt that's what it is. Maybe, but probably not.
$10 from Alexander Dark 91. The plan has always been the same. Gold will go away this year, and they will convert all subs to Game Pass Standard. The current gold prices are the same as the Game Pass Standard.
Yeah, maybe that's what this is, and maybe that's how this plays out. I guess I wouldn't be surprised if Halo comes along and that's still what happens. 6 months. 6 months is probably when we're starting to like really put out pre-orders for Halo, right? 6 months from now is E3. I mean, honestly, 6 months from now, it almost exactly might be E3. And
are there still pre-orders of Halo from the one that was supposed to come out? And
yeah, you're right. Good point. Yeah, but it's like the next drive for pre-orders at that point. Yeah, but a lot of people probably canceled their pre-order when it got delayed. So maybe the timing works out there where at E3 they announce, okay, we actually are converting everything to Game Pass, and here's Halo. Here's when it's coming out. When Halo comes out, you'll be able to play at least free-to-play games online for free. I mean. That still has to be where they end up eventually, I feel like, but maybe not. Maybe the people in there just don't quite get the idea that they could be making even more money if they got rid of the free to play barrier at least.
Do you think there's going to be any damage control? Is Major Nelson going to justify this on his podcast, or is this just going to be something they stop talking about and move on from?
So it definitely feels like the kind of thing that the Xbox fans are not going to let them forget. You know, Xbox fans are, you know, they're very vocal. They are in people's mentions. I was tweeting about this today, and people were tagging, you know, Major Nelson and Aaron Greenberg and Phil Spencer a bunch of times on the things I was saying. So it's like they want them to know they're going to want to hear something about this, but I don't know if they're going to stick to it. They'll probably just ignore it and not do anything. But I don't know. I'm very curious. I would expect some sort of backtrack here, though, that my money would be on. They're going to, because they can afford to. Why wouldn't they? It's just bad PR. It's not going to. They could accomplish the same thing in better ways. It's kind of where I keep going to.
We got a couple super chats from Bounty Boom. First with $10. I don't agree with this, let me say, but I pay $180 a year on Netflix, and I play more video games than I watch movies. I don't say right, but think about that. We are still going to pay. And then another $5 says, and if you think about it, as long as my subscriptions don't expire, I can still pay $60 a year.
Yeah.
So I mean, this is, as like you said too, like for a lot of us, this doesn't really affect us necessarily, and it's not, even if it does, it's maybe not a giant monetary loss for too many of us, but it's just it's such a bizarre thing to do. We had $2 from Nick Turbo. We'll be at E3 this year, and not, will there be E3 this year and not a Summer Games Mess?
Yeah, I mean, good question. I think it'll probably be both.
I wish.
Yeah. I hope that there's an E3, but it still feels like that might be just a bit too soon to get everyone to come out for that sort of thing.
We know there won't be a GDC, thank God.
Yeah, there won't be a GDC. Yeah.
I hate Game Developers Conference. I feel like I'm the only one who thinks
no,
you haven't had
it's not for us, right? It's not for it's for game developers.
I don't get it. I don't get anything. I get barely anything out of it. Everyone's like, you get such great access to developers. Like, I have email. Like, it's not that hard to get access to a lot of them. I'll be honest. Georgie with $2. Jeff, any update on the Bethesda deal closing?
I mean, it's still on track. I don't think there's going to be anything. You know what? That's what it was. Did you just sneeze or cough or something, Mike?
Oh, this.
Yeah, that's why we thought it sounded like a bark.
I was just getting green tea stuck in my throat. Yeah, Penny's a good dog. Wow.
Good. Yeah, sorry, Penny. Everyone in chat, can we get a sorry, Penny, please?
Yeah, you should apologize to my pathetic little dog.
Okay, so I mean, any other thoughts here? To me, it's like it just feels like an own goal, right? It feels like they didn't need to make this boneheaded move. They have this narrative going of being the company that is very considerate of like value and Game Pass. Like, you know, one of the first super chats we got today was, they have the best and worst deals, right? So like the best deal being Game Pass and the worst deal being Xbox Live Gold now, and that feels true. And most people will just go with Game Pass Ultimate, I think, but there is going to be those people out there that are looking for a way to play very certain games with a group of friends or family members, and they want to get a system for their family. And now, to me, like the Xbox Series S completely doesn't make any sense, because you're going to get what? You're going to get, like, you probably get it, and you probably buy Minecraft, or it comes with Minecraft, or you want to get it for Roblox, or if you want, like, Fortnite, like I keep using it as an example. And the Xbox Series S is $300, and then you're going to pay $120 for a year of playing that game with those games with your friends. That makes it kind of like, it makes it more expensive than just getting a PlayStation 5 digital edition, which can play many of those free-to-play games, all of the free-to-play games, without a fee. So it's just a bad deal.
It's pretty bad. I think back once upon a time, people were more okay with Live Gold because the idea of getting free games every month seems so exciting. But now with Game Pass, that's not the perk that it once was.
Yep. Yeah, I agree. I feel like we've heard Phil Spencer sort of talk about Game Pass and being like, or not about Gold, and saying, it's futures is kind of, we're trying to figure it out, and it's definitely feels like a product of a bygone era. And to me, this just doesn't seem like the way that you deal with that. Like you're doubling the price. There was no clear indication of added value. They haven't been padding it with value. Like there was like some games with Gold this month was like, there's Gears 5 there.
Gears 5 and a really old Indiana Jones game,
right?
Which was never that good.
Yes, yeah. I honestly didn't even know that Indiana Jones game existed. So It's like this is the thing you're going to come out with to try to win us over with. It doesn't feel like they're trying to win us over. It feels actively like they are trying to push people away. And the super chat earlier saying they should be trying to pull people to Game Pass instead of pushing people away from gold is absolutely right. So yeah, we'll have to see what happens. I imagine we'll hear more about this.
I'll be interested to see if this like is something that goes away or if it becomes a bigger deal, what the next step here is. But let's move on for now.
So more Friday like bad news sort of things. Activision revealed today that it is basically having Blizzard engulf Vicarious Visions and not even turning it into a support studio. Just everyone that was working at Vicarious Visions now works at Blizzard is kind of how they put it. Vicarious Visions, for people who don't know, just developed Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1+2. They did a couple of the other recent HD remakes.
They did Insane Trilogy is the other big one, which was kind of like the standard for that. Thing was a giant hit.
Yeah.
For that, they worked on Skylanders. They weren't like the main people, Toys for Bob were, but they kind of did a lot of the like other console versions. And then I think they were lead developer for the last couple too. And you know they've been around a while. They've done a lot. They did Vigilante 8 back in the day. Remember that Twisted Metal clone?
Yeah,
the one good
Twisted Metal clone. I do remember.
Yeah, because that was on Dreamcast, so that was exciting. And yeah, so now they will not make their own games anymore. They will just assist Blizzard in existing projects, which presumably means like existing in development projects. So presumably they're going to help with Overwatch 2 and Diablo 4, is I think what we all assume. This sucks.
This sucks. This is awful. I get
it's terrible.
So Activision, every friggin' publisher right now is at like a peak for their stock value. These companies are worth a lot of money. And if I could just like say one thing to investors, you are all so stupid. These companies don't know what they're doing. This company, Activision, Bobby Kotick, they don't know what they're doing. They have this studio that has been around for decades, making excellent games, making friggin' Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2 work on a Game Boy Advance. Legendary studio, people who worked on that still there, making Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2 an excellent game. And you have this studio. It's there. There's 200 people who are very good at making video games, as evidenced by their most recent releases, just banger after banger. And you could let them go to the next level. You could say, you have proven yourself. Now let's make something new. Let's believe that we can make money by making new video games and let these people do it. And instead, that is the scariest notion to them. They don't think they can make money by making new video games.
Even though they did. Even though they were we're not even asking for new video games. We're asking to keep letting them make remakes.
Even that. Yeah,
that's our bar. That's how low our bar is.
That's how beaten down we've been by these stupid publishers that just don't know what they're doing. And instead, you're like, you have so much fucking money. You laid off 800 people when you had like made the most money in the history of your company. You could afford to start a new support studio. You're Activision. This has been done before. We've seen Ubisoft do it. EA does this even. Even though EA is very similar in the way that they treat making new video games. You could just hire more people and let Vicarious Visions be Vicarious Visions. There was no reason to do this other than, yes, I get it. They're good and they're going to help with very important games. But just hire new people to do that stuff. Let Vicarious Visions exist. This sucks. This is not the way to like. I have no faith in Activision. I've always been wavering on them for a long time. They have Call of Duty. They make that work. They haven't quite screwed it up yet. But they don't know what to do next. They are lost in the woods, and they're just gonna wring what they can out of Blizzard until that stone, stops giving any blood.
Absolutely, and that's kind of my thing here because I'm sometimes a little bit of a Blizzard defender. Blizzard's not what it was is a lot what a lot of people say, and I'm like, maybe not, but they still do good stuff. Overwatch was really great, and Hearthstone's fun, and now it's like, man, this is awful. And I think so much of this goes back to Warcraft 3 Reforged, which came out just about exactly a year ago and was this giant flop. And I think Activision lost a lot of faith in current Blizzard management and even like the studio itself. So, Overwatch 2 and Diablo 4 can't be in great places right now, right? If this is what if they're sacrificing a studio just to help Blizzard, like those games can obviously not be in fantastic spots, which is weird. like Overwatch 2 is something that you think should be coming out like this summer. Maybe it's coming out later. We'll find out.
It should have been out at the launch of the new console systems. That's the spot where they made the most sense, but they didn't make that, so obviously there's issues.
Right, and we'll learn more about a lot of Blizzard stuff next month at BlizzCon Online. But this is just such a. It'd be one thing if they're saying Vicarious Visions is working for Blizzard so that they can remake Blizzard games. They're going to remake Diablo 2 next.
Yeah.
That'd be fun. It's not even that. They're just going to be a support studio. They're going to become an invisible hand.
Yeah, they're totally just being absorbed, and they will, and all of that culture will be lost to time. Like all that institutional knowledge that lasted from the Game Boy Color, like they worked on that Tony Hawk game, and then it was present in Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1+2 remake or whatever. There was people that worked on all that stuff, and all that knowledge that could have gone into yet another new Tony Hawk game, like one of the top 20 best-selling games in the United States last year.
Number 10, I think, right? Was I wrong? Man, I don't know.
It was definitely in the top 20. I think maybe the top 10. Maybe number 10. Yeah, that sounds right. And that's, it's not like this is like, it's not a flash in the pan. This company has done this repeatedly. I am so very frustrated by this.
It's so obvious why, because Crash Bandicoot, Tony Hawk, they did well. Yeah, but you know that Blizzard sees them as things that can't make money forever, right? They aren't something that you can get reoccurrent finance streams out of, like a Diablo 4 will be, like an Overwatch 2 will be, like Warzone is, right? And that's all that I think they really care about. And it's bizarre because that's what everybody only cared about like 5 years ago. And I feel like a lot of people have kind of moved on from that a bit. I mean, remember Microsoft's thing for a bit, right?
Yep.
Was they only cared about that. And they suddenly realized that what Sony was doing and crafting these new, big AAA or just, really good single player experiences that you can play for 15 hours and move on. There is value in that. Yep. And Activision Blizzard does not know that lesson or care about it.
Yep. I mean, there's not much else to say here other than
it sucks.
Yeah,
it's stupid.
It sucks. It's stupid. And these companies, the people who invest in these companies right now, when they're at their like very high price point, are just going to pay a price later because they're not. I have very little faith in them being able to produce another hit. They'll have Overwatch 2. We'll see how it does. They'll have Diablo 4. We'll see how it does. They won't have the next Overwatch. They're not going to have the next Diablo. They're not going to create the next Call of Duty. None of that shit's coming from Activision. No way.
Diablo 4 is weird because Diablo 3 launched and wasn't very good and was still a giant hit. So I don't know about Diablo. Like Diablo 4 may still be a huge success anyways.
I'm not saying, yes, I agree with that. Those things could still be big and they might be gigantic and it might be enough to keep them going. But you invest in a company with the idea that they're going to grow in the future. And my faith in their ability to do that is zero.
It's so bizarre that in order to secure those games, you had to sacrifice an entire studio. And this is obviously better than just closing Vicarious Visions. Which why would you do that?
Yeah, you're right.
And maybe I'm wondering how they feel. Maybe that's how they feel. Like, well, we all have jobs.
Yeah,
I don't. Maybe they're all okay with it. I don't know. You would feel like they'd be bummed out, but maybe they're not. Maybe they think this is good. I wish I could talk to some people there.
Yeah. I was like, I was going to do that story. Then Patrick Klepek said he's going to look into it. So I'm going to let Patrick Klepek try to report that story. And
don't mess it up, Patrick.
Yeah, don't fuck this up, Pat. All right. Let's see. Do we have any questions about this? Okay, yeah, just Schaefer from he just said he pointed at this news and said the fuck. So I think we answered your question.
I don't know. I just saw this too, and I was so confused because at first I was like, wait, what? That Vicarious Visions? Once you just made 2 big hits? So are they remaking games for Blizzard? No, they're just going to help them render things. I don't know.
Gonna go make art for them or whatever, yeah. Overwatch 2 and Diablo 4, which must be on fire. Okay.
I'm so curious because people have, and I think we were even asked about this, like when's Overwatch 2 gonna come out? And this seems like the worst case scenario would be later this year. And I think if BlizzCon Online happens and we find out that Overwatch 2 isn't coming out till late 2021, this is going to make a little bit more sense.
Yeah, you're right. All right. The next story I have here, kind of the maybe a little bit on the other side of the publisher spectrum, the acquisition spectrum, how to deal with developer spectrum. Tencent, who gets a lot of hate, has acquired a majority stake in Klay. Now, Clay is an indie studio. They've developed Invisible Ink, Mark of the Ninja.
Don't Starve.
Yeah, Don't Starve is like their really big one.
Yeah, N plus, right?
Yeah,
Was them.
and it's they're an excellent studio. But the story here is usually just like Tencent acquires a majority stake in a studio and then stands back and lets the studio do its thing.
Yeah.
That's how Chinese investment works, and they get a lot of hate, and everyone's like, "Oh, China's taking over everything." China's given a lot of money to people to make stuff, and that's what's happening here. That's what Tencent does. It's
they're gonna be doing it more.
Yeah,
a lot of people expect a big acquisition to still happen at some point here, right?
Yeah, totally. I get it. I wish there were more companies doing this, but fucking Activision's not going to do it. EA's not going to like give any of these companies. They're not going to like. They could be. They have plenty of money. All these companies. They are doing very well on their bottom line. On the top line to the bottom line, they're doing very well, like technically. So why wouldn't they make similar acquisitions? Why wouldn't they make similar moves? Because they don't believe in video games. They don't believe that video games are going to make them money. They just are so afraid. And Tencent's out here throwing that money around. Yeah, Call of Duty make us money. EA, do you think they really have faith in the next Battlefield game? Probably not. They don't think Battlefield's going to make them money.
I may not either.
Yeah, right. Yeah, because they fucked up. Yeah, they couldn't make it work. It's in it. Yeah.
They couldn't make Star Wars work.
Right.
EA, so, I mean, who knows?
So yeah. So it's just it feels like sure, I get the hate of Tencent to a certain extent, but at least they're investing in video games and letting them continue to be created. So a big payout for Clay. Clay, that Don't Starve, like they turned that into an ongoing mega hit for them, and just kept making a lot of money on that. And I bet that's the kind of thing that I bet like will happen to Supergiant in a few years. A company like Tencent will come along and be like, "Oh wow, you turned Hades into a really long-term ongoing hit. You clearly have a lot of talent. You'll get a lot of money too." So, last story I have written down here is Resident Evil is coming in May. I can't remember all the details. I wrote the story yesterday.
You watched this whole thing. I wasn't paying too much attention.
Yeah, you had a thing yesterday. I think you were busy.
Well, I had a thing. I'm also just a coward. Like,
oh right, yeah, okay.
I admire Resident Evil, but it's just like the only ones I really played were 4 and 5.
Yeah, I was hoping this one would be very much like 4, and it still seems like it's closer to 7 than 4. And 7
it's gonna be a lot like 7.
Which is way too scary for me too. So I'm right there.
And I'm not mad about it. Like I think it's like even though I can play the action ones, I agree that Resident Evil's place should be being scary. Like that's what it does. It does that better than a lot of things, so it should be that. So even though I'm not going to play it, I applaud it. It seems like everyone is really into it, although I can't tell if they're excited about the game or just the giant busty lady. I don't know.
Yeah, she's a very tall lady. So
very tall.
that's what else can you take away? So she's a tall lady. But she's very tall. She's like 12 feet tall, but she still has the proportions of like a normal woman. She is so much better than that dirty pervert Mr. X. Proportions? Like, well, okay, she's got big, she's a big busty tall lady, and everyone calls her mommy and loves it very much. What do you want me to say here, Mike?
Maybe nothing. Maybe I want to move on.
She's a vampire. Yeah, I think she might have vampire teeth. I can't tell. I want her to choke me and leave me for dead.
All right, great. Oh boy. So I'll be honest. I even played a demo of Final Fantasy 7 of Resident Evil 7. I don't actually know how it works because it's a first-person game. I assume it's not like a first-person shooter. Is it like
no?
They talked very much about Guest. Like what is it?
No, I don't think it's that. I think they talked very much about how like there's sections where there's no combat and you can't even like guard yourself. You have to just run away and you can't do anything. And I think that's how this was going to work as well. I think that I think she's a very tall lady because even like there's nothing you could do if she gets close to you. She's just going to stomp on you or grab your neck and choke you.
She is like Nemesis or Mr. X. Okay,
yeah, but she's like 7,000 times better than those dirty losers. Yeah,
those dirty losers.
Yeah, Jeff Grubb into horror BDSM confirmed. I don't know. I think that there's some cool character stuff happening there. There's also a merchant who's like this giant guy named Duke who just bursts out of these doors. I like him a lot too. But it seems like a Resident Evil a game for Resident Evil fans. That community seems very happy. There's some talk about how the demo, which is a side story that is exclusive to PlayStation, and I think will be referenced in the main game, but not in the main game. So it's like this is like a its own little thing. But I've heard some people say that it doesn't look quite as good as Resident Evil 7, even on the PlayStation 5. My hope and guess there for fans of the series is that just means that it's they didn't put quite as much of a budget into this because they are trying to make sure that Resident Evil 8 is as good as can be. So
yeah, I wouldn't. Man, Capcom games have been looking pretty good lately. I wouldn't be too worried about that. I mean, even the Resident Evil 2 remake looks amazing on the last gen. Hey, Nick Turbo, $2. Who is in more shaky water with EA, BioWare or Dice?
BioWare.
Well, BioWare's in more. Well, because that's interesting because BioWare has two major projects at least on the pipeline.
Yeah, but I mean, there's still. I mean, Dice is still has stuff going on, and Dice's future is sort of like in new hands. Vince Sampella from Respawn, he has like risen above Respawn. He's still in charge of Respawn, but he's also now in charge of Dice.
It's like when Lasseter was made charge of all Disney animation.
Almost exactly the same thing. Yes, only hopefully without all the pervy hugging.
Oh, yeah, hopefully without the weird hugging fetish thing.
And so I think they're like, okay, we know who's in charge of Dice. We know like where this is headed. We have. I mean, no one has any questions about Vince Sampella's capabilities. He has proven over and over again with Medal of Honor way back then to Call of Duty to I can't remember the name of the mech game. That's one of my favorites. Titanfall. Yes, and then Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. Over and over again, proven that he can oversee studios to make really great games and knows how to hire talented people to oversee those studios more specifically. But BioWare is in a situation where like there are like new up and coming people who are taking over for people who just left, and these people have proven themselves to a certain extent, but they've proven themselves as like capable of cleaning up messes, especially at like BioWare Austin. And now they're given their chance to really prove that they can handle this stuff and take it to the next level and actually like oversee a project without having the catastrophe of a really bad launch. And I think that just is inherently more shaky. And if things go bad, like what is BioWare's future? Who is going to step up if these people failed? These are the people who have like are stepping up. There's no one behind them. So yeah, BioWare's in more shaky water.
So you're saying in 4 years, BioWare is going to become a support studio for EA Sports or something?
Yeah, they'll be working on Madden for sure. Yeah, God. Okay. I don't have any other
All
news
these publishers are just going to release 2 games a year in the future, and they're going to have 5,000 people work on each one.
Oh, God, yeah. I mean, it sounds like that's where we're headed, Mike.
It sounds like we might already be there. How many people does it take to make an Assassin's Creed these days? And with, like, Watch Dogs coming out and seemingly doing nothing, like...
Yep.
I feel like they're just going to double down even more on Assassin's Creed, the thing that works.
Assassin's Creed and, like, Far Cry 8, 9, 10...
And of course, Beyond Good and Evil too, which is definitely happening.
Oh, of course, goes without saying. Like you didn't even need to mention that.
If we don't see more of that this year, we just all admit that that's not happening.
Yeah,
if we don't see more of it by summer,
definitely a fake. It was always a fake. Like people are talking about, oh man, the Cyberpunk demo was fake. It's like, first of all, almost every demo is kind of fake in that way.
We'll talk about.
Yeah, let's talk about that. What are your thoughts?
I mean, I think, obviously it was, what CD Projekt Red did there. I thought the Bloomberg report was saying a lot of things that I had assumed, and I thought were
it's like everything that I think we were like everyone knew. I guess it's the same story.
Yeah, the demo. I was surprised that some people were like, I think it was just because everyone's mad at CD Projekt Red. Yeah. People were outraged that the demo was fake. Like, yeah, it's an E3 demo. They're
all fake. I think it was a mistake to include that sort of in the story that way because people fixated on that, and it's just like, a lot of times that stuff is glued together and faked, and I think there just needs to be more context for what that means.
To be clear, I'm not trying to defend CD Projekt Red. They blew it.
That is not the thing to get mad about. Like,
that's not the thing.
Because you could it's like fake, but then you go play the game, and the thing plays out almost exactly the same as you saw it in those demos, and there's like one option missing or something like that, which is like happens all the time with these demos. That was the wrong thing to fixate on.
I remember one of my first E3s, I saw that BioShock Infinite demo that they had there, that behind closed door things, and like that thing was so much more ambitious and pretty than what that final game ended up being. I kind of learned my lesson with that one.
Yeah,
I remember walking out with our boss at the time, and our boss was like, "That was the greatest demo I've ever seen." And I was like, "Oh man, it was really cool." And then like the game came out, I was like, "Oh, this is not quite as ambitious or intense as that."
Right. Yeah, we just got like. I think we've sort of internalized the idea that we are clearly inside a marketing thing happening here, and they are showing us a commercial for a product they're going to sell. Of course, they're putting their best foot forward. They're not going to show everybody the fucked up thing that is like that they're still making. They're going to make it look as good as possible with a target render of what they're trying to get to, and call it a demo. And yeah, it happens. I don't know.
Yeah, and everyone does it. So like, I don't like making that like part of CD Projekt Red's nefarious scheme.
Yes, making it part of their great sins it's just not accurate in my opinion. But yeah, they did a lot of other shit
I agree.
wrong.
It's a practice we shouldn't do anymore. But
I mean, it's like
that's not all on.
I mean, we could still like we could hold them accountable for saying this is what you said you were going to do. Did you do it? And I just think in Cyberpunk's case, they got pretty close to what they said they were going to do there. It just wasn't. There was a lot of implied promises that people took away from it, and that's on the media side where they were like, oh man, like it looks like maybe you could do this as well, and maybe we should be more careful about that stuff as people covering these things. I think maybe that's where the problem is. But
yeah, I think even since last pod, there's a new apology, there's a new roadmap. I can't remember. Yeah, CD Projekt Red not having a good year, and deservedly so.
Yep. Yeah.
But
I'm so
maybe
over
Microsoft.
That game otherwise,
maybe they're happy that everyone's mad at Microsoft today.
Yeah, for real. Yeah, there's like it's like one Friday where like people aren't like outraging about Cyberpunk since it came out.
Pay $2 from Matta Hyas. Okay. Something like that.
Yeah,
with no comment, but thank you.
Thank you so much. Yeah, if you meant to
Matt,
comment,
can I call you Matt? Thank you, Matt.
Okay. I don't have any other news here. Is there anything else we missed from this past week?
I don't think so. You have some questions?
I do, but mostly to deal with the stuff that we talked about. So might not have. And we got a lot of super chats this one, so that's probably okay. So let me see here.
Yeah, thank you everyone again for the super chats.
Yes, thank you so much, everybody. It's very nice. It makes doing the show very
my
fun.
Arby's budget, thanks you.
Any thoughts on if they will be acquiring more beyond them? This is Tencent, Clay. We talked about that.
Yeah, I think everybody's expecting a big one still. There will be more small ones in the meantime. Tencent has plenty of money.
And then Billy the Door asked the question that we talked about: when does the price of Game Pass go up? It has to happen eventually, right? I think that like we said, eventually, of course, eventually, like just like Netflix's price goes up every couple of years, that'll happen eventually. I just don't think it's not this year. That's not. I don't. If it goes up this year, this is not me with any inside knowledge. I will be very surprised.
If it goes up this year, everyone should get mad at you again and come back and our live things downvotes. That'd be good.
Mike, tell me about Hitman 3.
Hitman 3 is very good, huh?
Very good, right?
Yeah, I've played through every mission one time. Some really good levels. That Agatha Christie murder mission level is fantastic.
So yeah, let's talk about that. And this game's out. I know it hasn't been out for very long. I know people are still playing it. But I think let's talk a little bit spoilery because everyone's the way everyone approaches this game can be very different. And I really want to talk about like how you handled that mission. So spoilers for Hitman 3. I think you guys, even if you get spoiled now, you're still gonna have a good time with the game. So you guys could keep listening or tune out now if you want to.
I mean, yeah, I very obviously became the detective. That just seemed like so much fun. And I almost became more focused about solving the mystery instead of trying to kill my target.
Their intent. That's what they absolutely wanted you to do for sure. And in fact, I think they talk about that in the there's director commentary included, and they talk about how they really just wanted people to play it. They almost started people out as a detective, but they didn't want to rob you of the chance to break into the house, which is a very Hitman thing. But yeah, like who did you end up accusing? Like, did you focus on interviews? What'd you do?
I did a ton of interviews. I looked for a lot of clues, and I got to a point where I was pretty sure I knew who did it. But then I kind of stumbled upon like the clues that let me say that the butler did it.
Yeah, right.
And then I realized, I guess I'm really just trying to kill this person, and this will get me a good opportunity to do that. So that's just all I did. I went up there.
Kind of how I did it too. Yeah.
And then I had her give me the files I needed, and then like after that, she like just immediately went and walked out to a patio where she was kind of by herself. So I went to a different way to patio and killed her there. And then I left.
So go back and play the other ways of answering that question. So there's like 3 options there, and you did the one I did the first time as well. And I won't spoil these parts, but it plays out differently. It's very cool. There is if you play that level long enough, there is something that happens by itself. Did that happen to you?
I don't think so.
You'll okay, yeah. So like
Yeah.
after she rings the bell, the woman you're supposed to kill, she rings the bell and they have a big enclave, and then everyone changes their pathing after that. Like after that, like
Oh,
everyone
yeah, I
gets
didn't
to
get to the Enclave.
right. So and if you do a certain thing, if you fix something, the whole level plays out differently. It is
So
so
cool.
good. And it's just like they thought about people replaying that level, and because I did the butler the first time I accused him, and then I went right back and played it again. I was going to do it a different way, but I was like really futzing around looking for stuff. And then all of a sudden something happened. I was blown away. I'm like, wait, how? I did not do anything to cause this to happen. So,
I think I told you before that my favorite levels are kind of the almost smaller, more indoor,
yeah,
self-contained ones, and that's totally what this is. And yeah, it's fun.
yeah. They're really good at at rendering a realistic not city block, but like the next step down from what a city block would be, which is like a
Yeah,
mansion. And that's what
yeah.
this is. Absolutely. I really like all the stages. I think they're all really good,
Well,
except the last one. Yeah.
yeah, I kind of want to talk to you about that.
So
And
yeah, let's keep
it's the
going.
last
Yeah.
one, so it's a spoiler.
Yeah.
So I
Still
guess
spoilers.
yeah.
Let's just do this.
But
Yeah.
like, I mean that was a little weird, and I don't know. I'm not quite sure what they were going for there because it suddenly feels like a different game.
It is.
And
It should have been
look,
if they were going
I
to do
love a
something like
good
that.
train level.
If they were
I
going to do
love
something like
train
that, yeah,
levels.
me too. If they were going to do something like that, it should have been the first level.
Yeah, exactly. Because this game doesn't have that really small first level like the other
Right,
ones
which
do.
is a
The
great
actual
level.
first level,
I love that
yeah, it's
level.
great. That level's great. That big tower. So, but instead the kind of like shorter experience at the end. But even then, like in Hitman One, that first level is still kind of a Hitman experience. This is like suddenly becomes a corridor shooter, and
Yeah.
I think they were. I think they just really wanted to make it exciting or something.
Yeah,
And
I
I
think they
think it was
wanted to
a little ill-advised.
they were kind of like I think they wanted to have a big finish. I think they wanted to play up the drama. I think they wanted to make it feel like it was like you are this killing machine going right for your target, and nothing's going to stand in your way, even a train full of soldiers. And that stuff works to a certain extent, but you get through it, you get to the end, and you realize like that's it. You could replay it with some very slight differences. Take you could, instead of going through the car, you can go on the side of the car and sneak around some things.
Can you play it passively at all? Is that even possible?
I'm sure you can actually play it completely passively, and maybe that's very cool. Maybe we should try that and see if that's good. But it does not have all of the possibilities that you get from any of the other stages.
No.
I think the reason that I was okay with this is that these other stages were so. There's so much to do. There's so much good stuff in there.
It's just a bit of a weird, and I don't like absolutely hate it, but it is like I was basically learning about like some of the shooter mechanics in that game for the first time in this last level because I wasn't shooting guns very often.
Right.
I was using a shotgun for the first time ever and grenades and stuff like that for the first time. I'm like, oh, okay, here we go. I don't know. It seems like a weird end there, and I'm not really entirely sure what they were going for and why not just. I really wish. If we had something like the Illuminati castle level from the last game, like maybe that the vineyard should have been the last level. I don't know.
Yeah, it probably should have been. Yeah, I mean, and that's kind of how I was treating it. It felt like that vineyard level was this. It's massive. It's huge. There's all this stuff.
Awesome.
It reminded me of Sapienza. And there's a ton going on there. It's the one I haven't really touched a lot since because it just feels so overwhelming. I'm like, let me get this other stuff done, then I'll go replay that one. And I'm probably gonna do that tonight. And then the last level, this like where it only has like a level 5 mastery. So again, it's very much like that small training level from the beginning of Hitman 2. And it's like this coda on the end of the story. Like the story really does sort of end with the big winery level. And then you go to this train, and there's just one thing to do. You kill this guy. It felt like an epilogue almost.
But I don't think that the ending was satisfying enough to that point, though. There should have been a real final level, I guess. I don't know. But I don't want to just focus. That it is what it is. I think people are going to be talking about it forever as kind of a misstep. But the game itself is just so good, and these levels are fantastic. The other one that was maybe, I don't want to say dodgy. I think I need to play it more. Is the Berlin one?
So yeah,
because
I've really come around on Berlin, but yeah, tell me what your thoughts were.
Well, I mean, for one thing, like the grungy dance club aesthetic isn't exactly my favorite.
Sure.
But I guess my one thing there is the idea is that you're hunting these 5 other like operatives,
Yeah.
hitmen like you, but it doesn't really, aside from the fact that you don't know where they are right away and you kind of have to walk around until you hear them talk on your earpiece, it still very much feels like you are the hunter. You don't feel like you're being hunted. It's ultimately no more difficult to kill these expert assassins than it is to kill, the fashion guy, right?
Yeah.
So and again, because you don't know where they are or who they are, there is a lot of time you're just kind of walking around hoping to overhear somebody
Yeah.
talking to their thing. And maybe there's another way you can find out who it is.
Well,
I don't
if you
know.
were
Again, I need to
if you
play
do a
more.
different starting point, it just shows you all of them. And
See, I think I would like playing through it like that.
and
more.
there's
Like,
11 of them total. So there's
oh,
yeah, so there's like
geez, I didn't
so
even know
you just
that. Okay, that's
you
neat.
just found 5 of the 11. And
Man, I'm kind of shocked it took me so long to find my 5th one then.
right, yeah, and going back and playing that one, and again, this one has a lot of cool things. This is the one mission, or this is one level that doesn't have story missions. It doesn't have explicit story missions for you to follow.
Right, but it's still, and like I did that whole thing where I pretend to be the Uber Eats driver basically,
Sure,
and
yeah.
that was great. And yeah, so that was kind of like the story mission.
No, that's it. There are a ton of things that would definitely qualify as story missions, and they are opportunities, and they're just as complex as like the story missions were in Hitman 2. But they're there for you to find. And like what I did was I like beat it, and then I did the director commentary right away, and they're like, "Hey, go try to be the DJ." And I'm like, "Oh yeah, the DJ." And so I went to go figure that out, and that was a great story. But and again, these like it feels like a story mission. I've come around on that stage. It's really fun. It's really cool to get into the radio tower with a sniper rifle, and you're so far away, and take people out that way.
I got going back to the winery level. I figured out how I could shock that guy in the wine pool and I made the wine go up. I could never figure out how I could only just get him. I'm trying to figure out if there's a way or not, or maybe there is.
Which stage is this? Which one?
The winery. So I overflooded like the winery, and he was standing in it and yelling at everybody, and I was able to like shock everybody in there and kill everybody who was standing in. I'm like, well, I don't want to do that. So I don't know if there's a way to just get him with that or not.
I haven't done that yet.
And then there's that very obvious like grape crushing thing. I did that. And I'm like, okay, I got to figure out how to get that one.
That was very good. And I used that to kill the woman, and it was very good. It also makes it feel like at that point it was very clear like you were supposed to like continue, and there was like a bunch of ways to kill her in this place. So I'm like, I want to go back and do that again. I love the very obvious things where it's just like, okay, yeah, there's a giant electrical tree up there in the sky. Like I could do something with that, but
China, really, really neat looking level. And it has some very obvious like storyline things, but they're fun. Like I felt so bad knocking out a homeless person.
I know, yeah, that's the thing. I wonder if there's like homeless ghosts just sitting around that you could just take or something. But
I was like, I'm gonna knock you out with a wrench, I guess. That's fair. But it was a fun.
Like, there is a challenge in that level to kill the one guy as a homeless person, and it's called like sticking it to the man. So
that's cool. But even then, like, it wasn't totally just like following the waypoints. Like at one point, I was in there and like, okay, leave now. So I still had to like figure out how to like get out of that room and get higher up, and then pretend to be another patient. So I mean, it's if you like the Hitman games, and it seems like a lot of people are being turned on this time around because
it's the right time, right?
There's
nothing else coming out right now. This is like like this game really benefited from its timing.
It come out like in December or November. It's some place where it kind of got lost.
It got lost, yeah, absolutely.
And this is such a better time for it. And I'll tell you what, the servers seem to be a little bit kerplunked, which makes me hope at nothing else. A lot of people are playing it, and I got my brothers on board this time. I wish that they made it a little bit easier or a little cheaper anyways to get the old levels from the first 2 games, because I almost had to like kind of nudge my brothers into it, because I know some people say, oh, you could just start with Hitman 3, and I'm like, I don't think so. I think you should start with Hitman 1. I think you kind of want to do everything.
I think you can start with Hitman 3, and that's been my answer, but why would you do that when you can get Hitman 1 for like $10? Or I think it's in Games with Gold or something like that. I think people could have got it with Games with Gold a little bit ago.
Now you can't. On PC through Epic Game Store, it's very cheap. On like Xbox, you still have to pay like 20 or 30 something. It's too much what you have to pay on the consoles to get those old missions.
Okay,
and I'm surprised it's weird to me that there's not just like some $80 version of Hitman 3 that just comes with 1 and 2.
Yeah, I wonder if that just comes down to like Hitman 1 is a Square Enix game, and WB published Hitman 2. I wonder if that makes it more complicated or whatever.
So I wish that it was almost a little easier there, but it
I
can be
agree.
done. And
Yeah.
we do have a $5 super chat from Sewer Link.
Oh yeah.
It says Nintendo expectations. Any
Subsidy.
substantial game announcements between
Oh.
now and E3 or silent shadow drops till summer fall? I mean, there's got to be something because there's not much happening from them aside from Mario 3D World, which is very soon, and then Pokemon Snap, which is coming after that, which isn't like a despite being Pokemon, it's not a big game,
No,
right?
yeah.
Yeah, but again, like
Yeah, I would
we
expect
saw
something in
last
April.
time,
Yeah.
we saw last time Nintendo can go a surprisingly long amount of time without announcing things when you think they should be announcing things. So it's hard to say. There's got to be something, but I
Yeah,
don't know.
I mean, there has to be something from them in terms of communication between March 31st and E3. We've talked about this before. Okay, no, every time I say that, I correct myself. There doesn't have to be anything, but I would expect something. I'm getting my hopes up for something at that point. You know, they're not going to say anything before Mario 3D World. It doesn't feel like, and that's
No,
fine. But anytime
not
after
for the next
that,
couple of weeks.
anytime after that, they might start talking. So. Yeah. Mike, I'm ready to get out of here. How about you?
Yeah, I am. I am too.
Was
Might
it,
be. It was funny for Hitman 1 and 2. I actually never did a whole ton of the going back and playing missions, and this time I'm really excited to do more of
yeah,
that.
go
Just
for
because
it.
last time I came into it so late, it
Hmm.
felt like, and this is the first time I'm really playing these games along with everybody else. I'm mad that we're on different platforms. I can't like get on your leaderboards
I
and
know. I'm
harass
honestly
you.
might just like get it again. We'll see. It's kind of
It runs. I'll say this too. It looks very nice on Series X. Like the lighting, the animation during the scenes is a little janky, but whatever. Who gives a shit?
yeah. I would recommend doing the escalation mission on Dubai. I had a lot of fun with that one. There's a gold devil that appears to you and tells you who to kill,
Oh
and
man, yeah. I need to try escalation missions, and I want to go through each mission on like the hardest mode where you can't save,
yeah, I need to do
or
that
you can
too. You
save
can't
once.
save an escalation mission, so it's good practice, and that
Ooh,
like helps you like learn the map and stuff. And then I don't think they've announced when they're going to do their first elusive target. But if you've never done an elusive
no,
target before, those are great too. Because like
I missed out on those.
you can't save, you can retry as long as you don't get caught. But if you get caught or killed, you never can try it again. You lose it forever. And so it's like a high stakes thing where it's like you put all of your knowledge from replaying these stages to use. I would just like pick one of your favorite stages and get the level 20 mastery. There's like cool unlocks whenever you get a level 20 mastery.
Oh, man.
Or if you do the full 3 levels of an escalation, there's usually a cool unlock. I
Yeah, I'll
did.
probably go back and do like the Christie Mansion a ton. Maybe even
Yes,
go back to some of the
definitely go
one or
do
two.
that. Would be the first thing you should do. Actually, is go see the other ways to solve that because there was some really fun stuff. And then just like mess around in that stage because there's too many cool things that you shouldn't miss. So yeah. Okay. Yeah, Hitman. I've been playing it a lot. I'll probably talk about it again a little bit more next week. But that's probably because there's not much else happening until Mario. I'm
I'll be able to talk about a couple things next week that I've been
excellent.
playing. Yes.
Excellent. Okay. So until then, though, where can everybody find you on the internet?
You can find me on Twitter at Tolkoto, Tolkoto. You can find me at 90sdisney.com, my 90s Disney podcast. We'll be doing a Spaceship Earth episode here at the end of the month. So look forward to that.
And I'm Jeff Grubb on Twitter. You can follow me there. I tweet too much, so maybe don't follow me there. My other podcast, How Games Make Money. I should have a new episode coming up soon. Yeah, I've been streaming a little bit. I've been streaming some Hitman. Twitch.tv/Jeff Grubb.
Get me
Yeah,
in on that.
yeah.
See.
It could come hang out there, and then the Discord. There's a link to the Discord in the description on YouTube and on your podcast player. Just swipe over the side. You should be able to find the link. Join us on Discord. I think we'll probably have like a game night here pretty soon where we play some stuff. I've never played Among Us still, so maybe we should just do that.
That'll be fun. The only thing is we can only get 10 people into an Among Us
Yeah, I mean,
room.
I feel like that's about the right amount of people we'll be able to get at like
Right.
any one time. So, all right. Okay. So thank you for listening, everybody. Until next week, have a good one. Take care of yourself, and goodbye.
Bye. Are we